Shalom and welcome to the Books of Prophets. We're going to pick up in Isaiah, starting at chapter 30. So sit right back and enjoy the reading of Isaiah chapter 30, starting on verse 1. Woe to the stubborn children, declares Yahweh, to make counsel, but not from me, and to devise plans, but not of my Ruach or his spirit, in order to add sin to sin. Who are walking to go down to Mizraim or Egypt, and have not asked my mouth to be strengthened in the strength of Pharaoh, and to seek refuge in the shadow of Mizraim. And the strength of Pharaoh shall become your shame, and the refuge in the shadow of Mizraim your confusion. For his princes were of Zoan, and his messengers came to Hanes. They were all ashamed of the people who do not profit them, not for help or profit, but a shame and also a reproach. The message concerning the peace of the Negev through a land of trouble and distress, from which came the lions and lioness and lion, the adder and the fiery flying serpent. They convey their riches in the backs of young donkeys, and the treasures of the humps of camels to an unprofitable people. When Mizraim, whose hope is vain and empty, therefore I have called her Rahab Shebeth, and go, write it before them on a tablet, and inscribe it on a scroll, that it is for a latter day, a witness forever, that this is the rebellious people, lying children who refuse to hear the Torah of Yahweh. As we have said before, Torah means law, and even more, it means instruction. 10. Who says to the seer, do not see, and to the Nebiim, do not nabba to these what is right, speak to us what is smooth, not but details. In other words, speak to the prophets. Let them not prophesy. Let them prophesy what we want to hear, what they should hear. Turn aside from the way. Swerve from the path. Cast the Kadosh one of Israel to cease from before us, or the Holy One. Cause the Holy One to go away from Israel, to turn his back. Therefore, thus says the Kodesh One of Israel, because you despise this word, and trust in oppression and perverseness, and rely on them, therefore this wickedness is to you like a breach ready to fall, a bulge in a high wall, whose breaking comes suddenly, swiftly. And he shall break it like the breaking of a potter's vessel, which is broken in pieces without sparing, so that there is not found among it fragments, a shred to take fire from the earth, or to take water from the cistern, or cistern, I should say. 15. For thus says the Adonai Yahweh, the Kodesh One of Israel, in returning and rest you are saved, and stillness and trust is your strength, but you would not. And you said, no, for we flee upon horses, therefore you flee, and we ride on swift horses, therefore those who pursue you are swift. 1,000 at the rebuke of one, at the rebuke of 5 you shall flee until you are left as a pole on top of a mountain and as the sun on a hill. You therefore, Yahweh shall wait to show you favor, and therefore he shall be exalted to have compassion on you. For Yahweh is an Elohim of right ruling. Baruch are all those who wait on him. Oh, Baruch are all those who wait for him. For the people shall dwell in Zion. At Jerusalem you shall weep no more. He shall show much favor to you at the sound of your city. I'm sorry, let me read this again. For the people shall dwell in Zion, at Jerusalem you shall weep no more. You shall show my favor to you. He shall show much favor to you at the sound of your cry. When he hears, he will answer you. 20. For Yahweh gave you bread and of adversity and water of affliction. Your teacher shall no longer be hidden, but your eyes shall see your teacher, and your eyes hear a word behind you saying, this is the way, walk in it. Whenever you turn to the right, or whenever you turn to the left, and you shall defile the covering of your graven images of silver, and the plating of your molded images of gold. You shall throw them away as a menstrual cloth, and say to them, be gone. And he shall give the rain for your seed, with which you sow the ground, and bread for the increase of the earth. And it shall be fat and rich, your cattle grazing in an enlarged pasture in that day. And the oxen and the young donkeys that work the ground eat seasoned fodder winnowed with shovel and fan. 25. And on every high mountain and on every hill, let's do that again, 25. And on every high mountain and on every high hill, there shall be rivers and streams of water in the day of great killing, when the towers fall, and the light of the moon shall be as the light of the sun, and the light of the sun be sevenfold, as the light of 7 days, in the day that Yahweh binds up the breach of his people, and heals the wounds of his blows. See, the name of Yahweh is coming from afar, burning with his wrath and heavy smoke. His lips shall be filled with rage, and his tongue be as a devouring fire. And his flesh shall be as an overflowing stream, which reaches up to the neck, to sift the nations with a sieve of falsehood, and a misleading bridle in the jaws of the peoples. Let the song be to you as in a night Kodesh of a festival and gladness of heart, as he who is going with a flute to come into the mountain of Yahweh, to the rock of Israel. 30. And Yahweh shall cause his excellent voice to be heard, and show the coming down of his arm, with raging wrath, and the flame of a consuming fire, with gathering downpour and hailstones. For through the voice of Yahweh, Ashur is broken down with a rod he smites, and every passage of the ordained staff with Yahweh lays on him, he shall with tambourine and lyre, when he shall fight with it, battling with a brandishing arm. For Topaz was ordained of old, even for his sovereign it has been prepared. He has made it deep and large, its fire pit with much wood, the breath of Yahweh, as a stream of burning sulfur, is burning in it. 31, verse 1. Woe to those who go down to Mizraim for help and rely on horses, who trust in chariots because they are many, and in horsemen because they are very strong, but who do not look to the Kodesh one of Israel, nor seek Yahweh. And he also is wise and has brought evil, and has not turned outside his words, and he shall rise up against the house of evildoers, and against the help of workers of wickedness. And the Mizraites are men, and not El, and their horses are flesh, and not the spirit. And when Yahweh stretches out his hand, both he too helps shall stumble, and he who is helped shall fall, and they shall all fall together. For this is what Yahweh has said to me. As a lion roars, and the young lion over his prey, though a band of shepherds is called out against him, he is not afraid of their voice, nor disturbed by their noise. So Yahweh of hosts shall come down to fight upon Mount Zion and upon his hill. 5. Like hovering birds, so does Yahweh of hosts protect Jerusalem, protecting and delivering, passing over and rescuing. Turn back to him from whom the children of Israel have deeply fallen away. For in that day let each man reject his idols of silver and his idols of gold, which your own hands have made for yourselves as a sin. And Ashur shall fall by the sword, not of men, and the sword not of mankind shall devour him, but he shall flee from the sword, and his young men shall become slave laborers, and his strength pass away because of fear, and his commanders shall be afraid of the banner, declares Yahweh, whose light is in Zion, and whose furnace is in Jerusalem. Chapter 32. See, the sovereign shall reign on righteousness, and rulers rule in right ruling. And each one shall be as a hidden place from the wind, and the shelter from the downpour, as rivers of water in a dry place, as the shadow of a great rock in a weary land. And the eyes of those who see are not dim, and the ears of those who hear listen. And the heart of the rash understood knowledge, and the tongue of the stammerers hurries to speak plainly. 5. A fool is no longer called noble, nor the scoundrel said to be respectable. For a fool speaks folly, and his heart works wickedness, to practice filthiness, and to speak against Yahweh, that which misleads, to starve the being of the hungry, and to withhold the drink from the thirsty. And the methods of the scoundrel are evil. He has devised wicked plans to destroy the poor with words of falsehood, even when the needy pleads of right rulings. But the generous one devises what is generous, and by generous deeds he rises up. Rise up, you women who are at ease. Hear my voice, you complacent daughters. Listen to my speech. 10. In little more than a year you shall be troubled. You complacent women, for the grape harvest shall fail. The ingathering shall not come. Tremble, you women who are at ease. Be troubled, you complacent ones. Strip yourselves and make yourself bare, and gird your sackcloth on your waists. Lament upon the breast of the pleasant fields, for the fruit-bearing vine. Weeds and thorn bushes come up over the ground of my people, indeed over all the houses of joy, the city of revelry. For the palace is abandoned, the crowded city deserted. Hill and watchtower serve as caves forever, a joy of wild donkeys, a pasture of flocks. 15. Until the Ruach is poured upon us from on high, and the wilderness shall become garden land, and the garden land be reckoned as a forest. Then right ruling shall dwell in the wilderness, and righteousness remain in the garden land. The work of the righteous shall be peace, and the service of the righteousness is rest and safety forever. And the people shall dwell in a home of peace, and in safe dwellings, and in undisturbed resting places, even when hail shall fall, felling the forest, and the city be brought low in humiliation. 20. Baruch are you who sow beside all waters, who send out the foot of the ox and the donkey. And thus concludes the reading of the prophet Isaiah. Till next time, when we shall continue in chapter 33. May you be blessed. Yah, we ask that you shine your light upon our paths and lead us into your righteousness and deliver us from evil and give us shalom in Yeshua's name. Amen.